How to draw eyes from the front. So first, let's talk about the main eye parts. In most illustrations, we have the eyelids, the upper and lower lids. There's also the iris, and we have the pupil. We also have the white of the eye and the inner corner of the eye. So which parts of these you want to include, you must decide first before you start your drawing. So for example, if we take Hinata, that's a case of extreme distortion, because basically we are drawing the eyelids and then there is the iris, and that's it. But if we take, for example, Gojo's eyes, that would be a case of slight distortion, because all the eye parts, the main eye parts that I mentioned are included, including the upper and lower lids. There's also the iris and the pupil with details inside, and the inner corner as well. The lower eyelid has details, a lot of them actually. So yeah, so which kind of drawing style you want to use, you must determine that and decide before you start drawing any eye. Okay, so this is basically it. Now, in order to draw the eyes from the front, we have to use something called parallel guidelines to make sure the eyes are the same size. Basically, they are gonna run along the upper and lower lids, and they are pretty useful when we are drawing faces on an angle, right? So, for example, let's say the face is like looking upwards, or or the face is from a side view, like the nose is going to be right here. So when we use those guidelines, it will help us a lot in determining the exact location of the eye and to make them on symmetry, right? Like you can imagine now how to draw them better. So these guidelines are very helpful when drawing faces on an angle. So aside from these main guidelines, parallel guidelines, there is a main line that we have to draw right in between, but this one is a little, they have to be like the same distance. The main line has to be like exactly right in the middle, so that the upper and lower eyelids would be the same size. And then we are going to divide this line into thirds to make things on better symmetry. You see, now we can draw like the eyelids right here, and the distance here is like if we have like a third eye, it would be that exact distance. So I prepared these lines in advance, and we are going to reference eye from Oshinoko. So we are going to use her eyes to illustrate this. So we start by drawing the lids, the upper and lower lids, like so, and the lower lids. After we finish the rough drawing of the lids, we are going to draw in the irises. You have to try to make them as identical as possible. You could use like objects to draw circles, but I don't recommend it. Actually, it's better to just do the best you can. And the distance here, the ratio should be 1 to 3 to 1, all right, between the iris and the whites, to make the irises identical. Now, if I use the ink or the marker to draw this, I recommend using a thicker marker than the one I used for this, because it would be easier than to have to like draw so many times over the same line like I do. It's a way to draw the eyelashes in some illustrations, but in this case it's not. So try using a thicker marker for this process. And you know, everything you draw on the right side, you have to also draw it on the left side, kind of at the same time, to make sure it's identical. Now I'm gonna draw the irises as well. You could add details to the inside of the eyes here. I actually chose a rather difficult example, you know, because Eye has like stars in her eyes and many sparkly details. So you could choose like an easier example for this, let's say, training phase if you're just starting, you know. I'm gonna add those details here. But like I said, you could use something easier than this kind of example. So anyway, now if we clean up to complete the rough drawing, it's gonna look more realistic, you know, in an anime kind of realistic, you know what I mean. But you know, it would be acceptable, let's say, using those lines. Now you could use a more geometrical approach to this by using those lines, not here, but you know, if you draw like geometrical shapes instead of circles and using your own kind of hand strokes or kind of like natural movement, it would be easier to draw eyes this way, like you see, by adding the rectangles and then connecting the inner and outer corners like so. So that's another way to go about it, but I personally don't like this way. I'd rather try by my own hands without using the geometrical approach. So this is basically it. And about drawing the if we go to discuss about drawing the eyelashes, I kind of just to show you that we have like different methods. One method for different shapes of eyes. This works regardless of the eye shape. So what we are gonna do is that we're gonna use guidelines that extend diagonally from the outer corner of the eye and around the lid, and then draw the lashes within these guidelines. So if we erase, you know, the pencil line, it's gonna be just the way you want it. It's like copying the eyelid and then shifting it, you know. So even if the eye is like sloping down like this one, it's gonna work for all eye shapes. You see? So let me clean this up as well. Yeah, you see? And if the eye is like sharp, you know, like most male anime characters' eyes, same thing goes. You just have to like copy the eyelid and then shift it. You see? Again, it works. And so basically this is about the eyelashes, just the basic theory. Eyebrows, now you have to discuss the main structure of them. We have the head of the brow, of course. We have the arch, where the eyebrows sort of bends. And then there is the tail of the brow. So I drew Levi here to illustrate this because first of all we have to initially decide the position of the you know, eyes, the nostrils and the mouth, even if roughly, and also the eyes, they must be made to look straight ahead. Draw the brows, even if you're gonna change them later. So what we do is that we start from the sides of the nostril and make a line that touches the inner corner of the eye. Same goes for the other eye, you see. And for the arch, again we start from the sides of the nostrils through the pupils. That's why the eyes must be looking straight ahead initially. And as for the tail of the eyebrow, it should be at the line from the corner of the mouth to the outer corner of the eye. You see? Like so. So now, if we draw the eyebrow, Levi looks bored for some reason. Sorry about that. I guess he always looks kind of irritated. Can't help it. Anyway, so if I use my pen over the pencil line to draw this, it's gonna look something like this. So this is basically it, and this is the basic principle on how to, you know, draw these parts from the front. I hope it was useful, and again, thanks for watching.